I decided that it's time for me to have another reef aquarium. I'm going to tell you a quick story while I'm in my absolutely messy garage right now. A few years back, pre-COVID, actually we can even go further back than that. I've pretty much always had an aquarium in my life. I've always had a reef tank of some form in my life. I started back in the day with a 29-gallon growing up. Man, I learned a lot with that tank. I flooded my parents' house with that 29-gallon tank. I was on the second floor and they ended up having to replace their ceiling on the first floor because of me. Then I worked for a large marine ornamental wholesale distributor, and I had about a 10-gallon, call it 12-gallon. I found it at this like tiny little store in Orange County, California, and it was this little bow front, and it sat on my desk, and I had a 70-watt HQI metal halide over the top of it. I had an Aqua Controller Junior powering it. Man, that thing was sweet. Fast forward a long time, I moved all over the place. I was an air traffic controller with the FAA for a long time. And then about 5 years ago, I decided to set up another aquarium, and I was living in Southern California, and I built a bitch and 110-gallon cube. This was right at the start of COVID. And so I held that tank. That tank was together for about a year. And then I made a move out to Oklahoma. And when I moved to Oklahoma, I thought, this is it. I am not moving again, and I am gonna build out the best aquarium that I can build. And so I mean, no expenses spared. I went all out on that tank. However, my true home was calling, and so my wife and I moved to Alaska. And so we've been up here now about a year and a half, almost 2 years. And what I've really discovered during that whole thing was I tried to move an aquarium from Orange County to Yukon, Oklahoma. And then I should show you pictures of that. I'm gonna put up pictures of that. I put everything in the back of this 1-ton truck that I had, and I drove it from Oklahoma, or from Orange County to Oklahoma. I drove that with heaters and in coolers. It was crazy. I swore I would never do it again. And then we moved to Alaska, and I put everything in FedEx boxes and I shipped it all up here. And it got up here, it made it up here. I mean, that was stupid expensive to get everything up here. And about 3 weeks after that, my Neptune Systems controller died on me. I lost dang near everything in that tank, and I swore I'd never ever do another tank. Here we are now, about a year later, and I have the itch again. But I have decided that if I'm going to do a tank, I am going to do it right. And I am not going to half-ass anything. And I am going to build it from the ground up. And I am going to make it look like it is part of my house. So I told my wife that's my plan. She kind of laughed at me because she said that I swore that I would never do another one of these, but she does like aquariums, so that's good. But I swore up and down I would never do this. So this time around, her stipulations are that if I'm going to do it, I have to be committed to doing it. And so I figured, what's a better way to be committed than to start a YouTube channel showcasing the challenges of having a reef in Alaska. The other big stipulation she had was it had to match our house remodel. So we just did a house remodel. And so it actually has to match with the kitchen that we're actually in the process of remodeling right now. So it has to match with that. Well, here's the problem. I can't just go to the cabinet supplier and say, hey, I want cabinets that can support this kind of weight. I've already asked them, they said absolutely not. And so basically I have to come up with something that will work for what I'm trying to do, but match. Here's the problem. I'm not a woodworker. So there's that. I think we should probably talk about what I have, like equipment-wise, and then go into what I need and kind of go over my overall vision. Let's jump into that. This is, I believe this is a Bow Magnus Curve 7. So at the time, this was actually a really nice, it was a really nice skimmer. I'm not set on keeping it, so there may be a replacement coming down the road, but for right now, I'm gonna try to make this work And like I said, if I can't make it work, if for whatever reason I can't glue that piece of acrylic back on, then I will buy another one. This is a Trader Systems 20-gallon Sapphire or 20 Sapphire. Basically, we've got the return section, we've got the refugium section, and we've got the skimmer section. We got a filter sock that goes in here. And so we've got multiple chambers in here. I do run pretty big. I like refugiums. I'm a big fan of them. I haven't decided if this is going to be my forever sump. It is kind of, the refugium section on this is a little small for what I like. So I haven't decided if I'm going to keep this or if I'm going to do something different with it. But as of right now, this is what I'm going to be running, and I might actually run a secondary fuge. We'll see. But for right now, this is what I'm doing. These are the AI illumination, or the AI Hydra 64s, I believe. Man, I'm getting good at this. So these are the Hydra 64s. Again, I think I've probably only got, God, maybe 3 months on these. I shut my old tank down pretty quickly after I got these. I used to run, oh man, the Ecotech, the Radion. Yeah, I think these are the Radions. Yeah, anyways, I used to run these. I've had nothing but problems with these lights, and so this one still works. I've already tested this one out to see if this one still works. Both of these work. So I haven't really decided what I'm going to do with this. There is going to be a point at some point where I'll show you my frag tank here in a minute. I might actually be putting this over a frag tank at some point. But for right now, I am running the Hydra 64s. Okay, so for return pump, as I like to throw it on the table, I'm going to be running the Core 20 by Neptune Systems. Now, I know there's a lot of controversy over this pump, specifically with the controller. I ran this for 2 years. I think I got it, I want to say the month it came out. I have never had a problem with it. However, I do know that I'm going to be placing an order from Neptune Systems, and I know that I'm going to order a backup of these. If I'm going to run the Core, I am going to, of course, have a backup just in case we have any problems with it. I think Neptune Systems sells them for like 99 bucks, so for me, it's worth having a backup. But anyways, this is the Core 20. I am going to run this as my primary return. I am going to be putting this in line through a JBJ Arctica. I think I have the quarter course. I have to go get it. It's actually at storage. But that is the plan for right now, is running this. This is going to be my primary return. Of course, you're probably thinking, I'm going to run this with an Apex. I'm getting there. So that is the plan for right now. The really astute viewer probably saw this sitting behind me a few minutes ago. Yeah, this energy bar has seen better days. But this is part of the reason I took my last tank down. This system failed on me. I lost a lot. And you would think that because I lost a whole lot of livestock and I lost my last tank and that whole thing, you would think that I wouldn't be dumb enough to run this again. Well, you would be wrong. I am going to be running, well, I mean, not this. That's trash. But the rest of this, I'm going to be running. So this Apex actually still works great. I do have the display unit for it, which when we get to the stand build, I'm actually going to build out. But anyways, yeah, I'm going to untangle all this. But yes, I do have the Apex. This is what they now consider the A2. The A3 has come out. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you. There is a really good chance that I'm going to sit down tonight after I go through all this stuff and I'm going to order the A3. However, I know for a fact this still works great. It does everything that I need it to do. The unit itself does a great job. However, that is a big reason that I don't have my tank anymore. And so that does freak me out just a little bit. So we will see. This is the dose. Now, this is great, and I do dose 2-part. Oh, it's dirty. Anyways, I know for a fact this works. I tested it the other night, so that works great. All right, so this is the Kalkwasser stir from Avast Marine. I ran this on my last setup. There's a few things that I like and a couple things that I don't like about this. A few things I am gonna change. One, I absolutely despise that this comes out in a 3/8 inch tube. It's stupid, comes in 1/4 inch, comes out 3/8. I'm not a huge fan of that. So I'm gonna try to find a way to modify that because it irritates me. So we will work on that. I never said I was easy on my stuff. So this is a Neptune Wave. I've actually got 2 of these. Obviously this one needs a new impeller. This impeller is absolutely trashed. It also needs a cage. So I'm gonna be ordering that from Neptune Systems tonight. Now, let's just level with you here. I don't know if I'm gonna use these. I really don't. It honestly is going to depend, well, why even lie about this? It's honestly going to depend on how many drinks I have tonight. When I sit down to order this, if I have a few drinks in me, yeah, I might be getting some MP40s or MP10s. I actually have a set of MP40s in storage. I might be getting some MP10s as well. I don't like seeing wires in the tank. I just don't. And so, while I am going to order all the parts that I need to make this and the other one work, the likelihood of me actually using these, I'd say is, I mean, it's a Saturday night, let's be honest here, it's about 12%. So I think, you know, one of the stipulations of me doing this tank was that I do it right. And I don't feel this is right. These are probably the coolest things since sliced bread. I do like running media through when I need it. I like putting GFO in. I like having carbon when I need it. And so these to me are when I need them. It's not something I like running constantly. So I do have these. I am gonna plumb them so I can use them if and when I need them. But, so I think that's pretty much it. The tank is actually out in my shed right now, and I don't wanna go out to my shed right now. So I'm gonna leave it with this. The idea behind this tank is that I need it to match my existing house. And so we've put a lot of money into our kitchen remodel, a lot of money into our house remodel. We're still in the middle of it, but I wanted to start this now before we were completed so that it can actually like start blending in with the kitchen. We can start working stuff in around the kitchen. The place that I'm gonna put this, I'll put a picture up right now. The place we're gonna put this is, I have one space that will work in my house, and it is directly above my air compressor, which is great because I can put a whole lot of stuff down here. Now, I am not gonna put my entire sump in this garage. I am not gonna run a remote sump. I'm not gonna do all of that stuff. And I know I'm gonna get people in the comments that are gonna say, hey, Brett, you really should do this. And you're right. If I were not in Alaska, I would. There are some things here where, yeah, temperature swings can get kind of interesting in this garage, and I know I can build a sump room back there. But here's the thing, I don't let my reefs control my life. And what I don't want is I don't want to have to move my bikes, I don't have to move my snowshoes. I want to make sure that once we get everything set in here, I can have all the activities that I normally do. I also build a lot of airplanes, and so I want to be able to have the capability of putting a Super Cub in here and building it. So I need to make sure the floor space to me is clear so I can actually do that. I am not a woodworker, so when we start building the stand and the canopy, I'm not a woodworker. And so if you are coming to this channel because you want to see some like amazing fine woodwork, there's this channel, it's called Blacktail Studio. Cam is a woodworker, I am not. So don't think you're gonna come here and see the most amazing woodworking ever. I am gonna build the stand, I am gonna build the canopy, I am gonna build all this into my dining/kitchen area. But I have one space that I can make this all work. I've got 57 inches width, and I've got about 30 inches deep. And like I said, it has to match my kitchen. That was my wife's like one big thing. So next up, I'm gonna place this order with probably bulk Reef Supply because let's be honest, I love those guys. And they ship to Alaska, which is huge. However, I have to kind of do it all at once because the shipping to get stuff up here, if I place like $1,000 order, it's like $200 to get shipped up here. So I have to be really cognizant and I really have to plan this stuff out before I do it. I have a pretty big order in my cart right now. Not gonna tell you exactly how much it is, but let's just say, whoa. Once that's placed, I think I know the direction I wanna go. But yeah, let's get to it. So the next step, we're gonna be building a stand and a canopy. And I'm hoping that we can have water in this thing, I would hope in about 3 weeks. Anyways, let's get back to work.